She's just like a normal woman.
By the way, this is the best. This is the best one we've ever done.
What?
This is the best one we've ever done. This is mental.
It is crazy.
This is mental. Hello, and welcome back to the 2U Mystery Tour. I'm Alex.
I'm Niku.
And today we are going to be talking about...
We're going to be talking about Lori Erica Ruff.
Lori.
I'm going to just refer to her as Lori.
Erica what?
Ruff.
Like...
R-U-F-F.
Like...
Ruff.
Like a dog ruff.
Lori Ruff. Or
L-A-U-R-I-E?
L-O-R-I.
God, that was an absolute nightmare. L-O-R-I.
I mean, no one's going to spell check your notes.
That's fine. Right, okay.
So, yeah. We're going to be talking about Lori, but let's start off talking about a couple and not just Lori, because this story really also starts with a man called John Lakely. So, yeah. We're going to speak about John Lakely Ruff first. So he's John Lakely Ruff. He's obviously got the same surname, and we're gonna refer to him as Blake because that was the nickname that he went by. So
classic American name.
Blake.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's because his middle name is Lakely, so it's like Blake Lee or something.
Did he surf?
No. But okay, so Blake came from a very well-off family. They owned a few businesses and they were known in Dallas because of their wealth. So we're in Texas today.
Yeah.
His family were very close to each other. They did so much together. They're one of those families that saw each other at like all occasions. They saw each other every weekend. They were really tight-knit. And they were also really protective of each other. Blake had a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Texas, and he then went on to study management, and he was working as an account manager. And he was also, just in terms of his personality, he was very easygoing, he was really trusting, didn't really overthink things, just a really chilled guy.
Chilled out. Everything
I want to be, you know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how John and Lori kind of relate. Or Blake, sorry. Yeah. His name is Johnny, but Blake and Lori met at church in Dallas in 2003. And so obviously, like I said, the family of Blake are very protective of him, and so when they heard that their son met a mysterious new woman, they were keen to scope out who she was and what she was like, and they had a lot to protect, especially because they had a lot of wealth as well. Yeah. So they always liked, if someone in the family got a new girlfriend or boyfriend, they like to meet them and question them and stuff.
Classic. Yeah,
and Blake's mom especially really tried to get to know her. She was a very involved woman, involved mom. And when they first met, she was asking about her family, her education, her life before living in Dallas. But the whole time, Lori was just so awkward. She was just putting off everything, every question. She was being really secretive, and her attitude was just really not welcoming. And she gave one-word answers all the time, or just she would answer the question with another question kind of thing. But what she did say was that she was an only child from Arizona, and she said that both of her parents had passed away and that she had no living relatives in the whole world. So
hang on. So she was an only child?
Yeah, she said she was an only child. Her parents passed away, and she had no relatives at all.
No living relatives. Okay. Which
is a bit odd. I mean, I feel like...
How old is she? Or do we know this yet?
We don't know, but she seems to be in her 30s or something, So she also said that she skipped school. I mean, not school, high school. Completely. She skipped.
She didn't just skip class?
No, she's just skipped high school. And
don't fancy that one.
And then, like, I don't know, how long is high school in America? Is it like, because you get like middle school and then you get like
high school? I think is like 6 years.
Is it? Because I thought it was, because it's 6 years here.
That's why I'm yeah.
But you get like I think you get like, like your freshman year, and then you get your middle school, and then you get your like high school, which is like.
But aren't you a freshman in high school?
Right. You know what? I need to find this out, because it doesn't make sense to me that she skipped high school, but then she said she went to college.
You can, she'll have done community college.
So can you do that without?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So how long is high school? It's 4 years.
Oh, miles off.
But like.
When do you start high school then? What age? 16?
Oh, no, it's not 4 years. Yeah, it's 4 years. So I think you have something. So you have freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, and then you have like a middle. So I think you are the same age as we are in the UK when you enter high school. Oh
well, you can't go to college at that age. Community college. She can't have. But no, sorry, she could have.
You can, yeah.
She could have not. She could have not gone for a certain amount of years and then decided to go to community college, because you don't necessarily need anything to get into them.
I suppose she said that she got her. So she skipped high school.
Yeah.
And then she went straight to college and got a GED. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what GED is actually, but I think it's like some sort of degree. Something
diploma. Is there something diploma? It'll be the general education diploma.
Okay, so
I have just made that up. So if I'm right, you all owe me a subscription to the channel and a like on this video, please. Thank you.
Thank you. That was smooth. Okay, so this is her so-called education, right? And then obviously his family just didn't like the sound of her. Like, let's be honest, they thought she was strange and not trustworthy, and she had something to hide. And they actually believed that she wanted their money by winning their son's heart. Okay, yeah. Because she just wasn't very warm and wouldn't say anything about herself. And when the parents spoke to Blake about how they really felt, he was totally dismissive. He said that she had a tough past, and that's why she just wanted to forget about it. Yeah. And he said that she'd burned all the photos of her childhood so that that would help her in trying to forget. And he's really chilled out, and he really respected her like wish to be private. So he never even asked her like or challenged her about what it was that she wanted to forget and stuff, which is fair enough. Like, you don't need to, pry if you trust each other and stuff. Yeah. So, that's that. And then, so the early days so I suppose that their relationship, we can speak a little bit about that. So Blake and Lori were very much opposites, and Blake was shy, reserved, quiet, and Lori was like really outspoken, loud, and opinionated, which I wouldn't expect from someone really secretive, but it seems she had like another side to her that was really outgoing. And within like a few months of dating, Blake was talking about proposing to Lori, and his family really tried to change his mind.
That's always a red flag.
I know, like after a few months. But Blake was in love, and they did get married, and the only person who actually went to their wedding was the priest who married them. So that was quite sad for a family that are really close.
And a Catholic, I don't know if they're Catholic or Protestant, but
he goes to. They met in church and
that's
stuff.
That's what I mean.
So yeah,
if they're a very religious family, to not being able to go to your son's wedding is pretty big.
Well, they didn't give him their blessing, so they never went, which is really sad, I suppose. And then after they got married, Lori convinced Blake to move an hour and a half away from Dallas, and I suspect it's because of the family, to kind of get away from the family. And I think they're the type of family that would just drop by like unannounced and stuff like that, and she just didn't like it, so she wanted to get him away. So they moved an hour and a half away.
In the grand scheme of things, though, that's not that far away.
An hour and a half? No, not really.
In terms of like I've heard in LA, like you drive like 3 hours to like see somebody.
Is that true? Is LA that big?
I know. I think it's that busy.
Oh, I suppose, but like, I also think like traffic. Is that what you mean? Like traffic? Yeah. So. But
people always are like, "Oh yeah, we did a road trip this weekend," and like they're just happy to drive like 10 hours.
Yeah. So
if someone said to me, "Do you want to just drive 10 hours to go somewhere?" Absolutely not.
I actually think that like I think we don't realize how big America is. And like people in America...
Oh, no, I fully realize. But what I'm meaning is that an hour and a half in America isn't that far away.
Yeah.
However, it does mean... I think you're right. I think it's that distance where you don't need to... we don't really need to like plan or be wary of someone just dropping in.
Yeah. So I think they were just too close to each other, and she just wanted to get away, I suppose. But I think you don't understand like the concept of distance unless you just live in America, and like they've got a very different concept. Like we're like, and I know that they don't really like, a lot of people don't really walk anywhere because everything is so far away from each other. Like even the shop down the road is like half an hour away, but that's normal. Yeah,
it's incredibly normal, especially in Texas, to drive everywhere.
I've not really been to the US, but anyway, so an hour and a half, and people who kind of met them in this new town described Lori as deeply religious, which is not, I don't think she'd been described that way in the previous town, but like this time she came across as deeply religious. She didn't like going to church that like sang and organized fun activities. She actually left the church that she was at because of this, and she said it wasn't focused enough on the Bible, and she really wanted to be like concentrating on the Bible and its message. And she had actually also given us different story about her past to these new people in this new town. This time she said that her parents were divorced and her dad left her mum because he became like an atheist, and she didn't want anything to do with them anymore. So again, that kind of like still says that she was deeply religious because she didn't want anything to do with her dad because he was an atheist. So...
But in this new story, they're still alive?
Yeah. And this is her new story to the new people. And then after their marriage, Lori really wanted to become a mum. She had made it her priority to get pregnant. And it was just like all she wanted was to be a mum and have a family of her own. And she actually had 4 miscarriages, which is obviously super heartbreaking for her. And at the same time, Blake's family, again, super suspicious, just always really suspicious in the background. They start to question whether Lori had been lying about her age because she wasn't able to conceive a child. And they, she had said she was 35, but they were questioning if she was older. And again, they're very much like really unsure about her. But after 4 years of trying for a baby, I mean, 4 years is a long time. She finally had a baby girl in 2008 through IVF. So it wasn't like they still needed help after 4 years, but she finally had her baby girl in 2008. And Lori was a brilliant mom. But she kind of became obsessed with her baby. Yeah. Where like she was super protective, wouldn't let anyone hold the baby. Like obviously Blake's family are so big on family, and like Lori just wouldn't let them get involved. She, like, if they visited, she wouldn't leave the baby alone with them. She didn't want anyone to hold the baby. And this just made everything even worse. The relationship became even more toxic when this baby came into play because, like, the family were really keen. Like, they're, like, grandparents now. So they're, like, even... Because now they've got, like, almost like an heir, almost, like, with all the wealth and stuff. So they really want to get involved. And so... well, it's more I mean, I don't know if it is, but it probably in their head is more proof that she actually does care about their son. Yeah. And wants a family rather than just wants to use him for his money. Yeah. She wanted she wanted to have a child with him, and she was so protective of her family, just wanted them all to herself, didn't want to share anybody. And it made everything worse because obviously Blake is not like that. He's close to his family. Yeah, and he's like, and I think even though he's a really chilled guy, it kind of got too much for him at this point because he wants his daughter to, get involved with his family and stuff. And Lori almost was isolating Blake from his family and didn't want anything to do with them, didn't want them to come round. And it all just came to a head in 2010 when Blake actually left Lori and moved back home with his family, and he filed for a divorce. I think just that whole like isolated life was too much for him. And I think the divorce was probably Lori's biggest nightmare, because now she had to share her baby and like actually leave the baby with Blake's family, because like they have a custody thing now, and she actually has to hand over her daughter, and like the daughter actually stays with that family now as like part of a custody deal. And during this time, she was just having a really bad depression, and she ended up going to therapy because she was really not dealing with this situation well. And she would like bring notebooks to therapy full of lists of things that she wanted to change about herself so that Blake would come back. And so it does show how much she loves him, because like it's not for the money, is it? 'Cause she's like,
it's not for the money, but there's like, you know,
she has like an issue with like abandonment. Like she wants everything close to her heart and like close.
Yeah, that's what there seems to be obsessive tendencies.
Yeah, like she wants, she's so protective of everything, like her family. Yeah. She wants her family, and it's almost like to the point where she's pushed her family away because she's been too possessive of them. Yeah. And that happens. Like when you are too possessive of something, you push them away. Yep. So she constantly would say to her therapist, all I want is my family back. She really felt like she had nothing left without him. She became more and more crazed as time went by, and she started to send like crazy aggressive emails to Blake's mum, and whenever she had to hand over their daughter for custody, she would throw fits. She'd refuse to hand her daughter over. And both Lori and her daughter were also looking thinner. They looked more unkept. Their house was a mess. Like you could tell it was like so much rubbish everywhere. She's kind of just like given up on like trying. And it totally looks like depression, to be honest. And she even once stole Blake's family home's key. But she never had like a chance to do anything with it, because they realized pretty fast that the key was missing. And they like changed the locks or something. But before they realized, like during a short period of time when they didn't know, they'd hear like the back door of the house open and close. And like sometimes it would make like creaking noises. It's terrifying. Which really like that really scared me when I read that. I was like, oh my God. And like, but like nothing, like nobody would come out or anything. It was just like being opened.
That's horrible.
That's horrible. I hate that.
That's almost worse.
I know, and it's so scary for me, like reading that. And but basically,
I'm gonna start doing that too.
Oh no, don't! Seriously.
Open the door and close it. And leave.
That really creeps me out. But they actually ended up getting a protection order against her, because that really freaked them out as well. And at Christmas, and then Christmas comes by, of course, the worst time to be alone. Yeah. And she really was, and no family. Blake actually took their daughter to his parents for Christmas, because he said that he wanted her to be around family, and it's it'd be nicer for her. And so Lori drove 90 minutes to the Ruff family house as they were like having a Christmas party, and she like barged in, demanded that Blake and their daughter leave and come home with her. And she kept saying she wants her family back together. And she was like begging for them to come home, but she actually had to be removed from the home. So someone had to actually like take her out, which is just so sad. I think like you can tell how desperate she is. So on Christmas Eve, she woke up pretty early, and she went into her car and drove again that 90 minutes to the Ruff family home. And she pulled into their driveway. So I should give a trigger warning here. We're going to be discussing topics to do with suicide. So feel free to just fast forward onwards or pause this video now. She actually had a gun, and she ended up taking her own life. And
Christmas, like Boxing Day? On
Christmas Eve.
But she was at Christmas. So when did she drop the kid off? So she dropped the kid off like a couple of days before Christmas.
Yeah, for Christmas. But she on Christmas Eve, I suppose I should have.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, because Christmas, like you would drop someone off for Christmas. Yeah, that makes sense, because you wouldn't drop someone off on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
So So she left. So she actually, she pulled into their driveway and did that, and then she left 2 suicide notes. One was addressed to Blake, my wonderful husband, and the other was to her daughter, but for her not to open until she was 18. Yeah. So the letters were never released, and I think the letter to her daughter also has not. I'm not sure what's happened to that. I don't think her daughter is 18 yet. So I think they've kept that for her and not opened it. But basically, the letters were kind of described by law as like ramblings. But I've seen some extracts, mainly she sounds upset and she's just telling him how much she loves him. And she also had said that she didn't want to be divorced. So she had to die before it was finalized. So she really didn't want to live it was really brutal. Yeah. And she also was very adamant that only Blake clean out their house. Nobody else to go there. She was like, but he was obviously too distraught to even step into that house. So his brother and mum went to get Lori's personal stuff and like clear the house out. So they go into the house and they start to clean stuff. And they see a locked box at the back of Lori's closet that is labeled crafts on it. And the family kind of break into this box basically because it's locked. And they find an Idaho driver's license with Lori's picture on it. But the name says Becky Sue Turner.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the name said Becky Sue Turner. And obviously she's in Dallas right now and the driver's license is from Idaho. And they also found a birth certificate which said Becky Sue Turner on it as well.
Becky Sue Turner.
Becky Sue Turner. They also found a piece of paper with a bunch of scribbles. Now this piece of paper I'm going to actually put on our Instagram and I want you guys to tell us what you think about this. I'm going to show you this piece of paper as well at the end and we can maybe discuss it. Yeah. There is just so much stuff written on this that is very mysterious. Yeah. So we'll discuss this, but there was also an employment reference letter from a man called Roger Steinbeck, which was written on stationery from a 5-star hotel in Thailand. So basically the employment reference was saying that Lori's like a really good worker and it seems that it was from this hotel in Thailand.
Like just on a piece of paper?
On a piece of paper. I mean, it is from...
From Thailand?
Yeah, it's from Thailand, like a 4-star
That's
hotel.
ridiculous.
I wonder if
you just get it on a piece of... Here's your reference on a piece of paper.
But I wonder because it sounds like this is really old stuff.
Do you have any references? Yes, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you could be right actually, because if she's 30 in 2008, 2010... If that is her real age. If that is her real age, that still goes like to 80s that you're born. Yeah.
So maybe this was like in the 90s that she was in Thailand.
Steinbeck.
Roger Steinbeck.
I've heard that name before.
What? Steinbeck's a writer?
Definitely not that one. I don't read books, but...
Of Mice and Men?
Oh, maybe actually.
Written by John Steinbeck.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I stand correct or sit corrected. Sorry.
So I'm here to correct you. So obviously this is strange. And then they also found documents that Becky Sue Turner had changed her name to Lori Kennedy in 1989. So her name she was going by is Lori Kennedy. And then obviously she changed Kennedy to Ruff when she got married. So obviously the family already so suspicious, even more suspicious now. They're like, oh my God, what's this about? So they hired a PI.
Yeah, mad that he's not seen any documentation.
Well, he was like very
time.
Respectful of like her wishes. Like these are all in a locked box.
But he seems like, from what you've said, he seems like kind of a shy guy that's almost too timid and scared to be like, can I see something?
Yeah. So he never saw any of this, and they hired a PI, and the PI found out that Becky Sue Turner died in a house fire in 1971 when she was 2 years old.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
So Becky Sue Turner is not even alive. So and after this, so she's like a 2-year-old that has died, and more private investigators then get involved because this is crazy, and they actually can't find any trace of Lori's existence before 1988. So remember, she changed her name in 1989, and they can't find any trace of her 1 year before that. So 1988 is yeah.
Oh my god, you just scrambled my brain. Hang on.
I know.
So she in 1989 changed her name to, like, is that when the marriage happened?
No, the marriage was like in
2010 or 2000 something.
They were in the 2000s when the marriage had.
So she changed her name, but she changed her name before that to the Lori.
Yeah, she changed her name from Becky, even though Becky has died. So I don't know how she had that name to begin with, but I do, I'll tell you. But she changed from Becky to Lori in 1989. But they couldn't find any trace of even Lori, or any trace of Becky or her, anything she did.
Until 88?
Before 1988. So she came on the map 1988,
and then quickly changed her name.
And changed her name 1989.
Oh my goodness.
So who was she before 1988? Basically, I can't find her. And so here is like, I think they were saying it was very professional, basically, like how she disappeared off the map and there was no trace of her. It was like almost done like by someone who knew exactly how they were what they were doing. It wasn't the work of just one person, it seems, as well. Like I think but they were saying it's like she's almost had professional help if she wasn't a professional herself. So what they did find out though was that in May of 1988, so this is 1 year before she changed her name. She changed her name in 1989, but this is like the trace of her that they find in 1988.
Yeah.
She was in California. Because it was from there that she had requested the birth certificate of the little girl, Becky Sue Turner. So
wait, sorry, say that again, just so I fully understand that. So
back in like the 80s, you could just request birth certificates.
Yeah, okay.
So you could just call them up and be like.
So she's obviously
like read in the newspaper or something, or knew about this girl that had died in 1971. Becky Sue Taylor, and she made a phone call and requested Becky Sue Taylor's birth certificate. That is,
oh my god.
So this is in 1988. She requested that, but Becky, you can't do that anymore. But back then you could, and back, Becky had died in 1971, and she requested this in 1988. So Becky had died 17 years ago.
Well, she requested it in 1988.
Yeah. So 17 years after Becky's death, she requested Becky's birth certificate.
And she just suddenly came on the map in 1988 again.
Yeah. So she had she seemed to have also she had like really good knowledge about how to gain a new identity, because she went specifically for Becky's birth certificate, because Becky was born in a different state to the state that she died in. And there was no cross-referencing between birth and death certificates across state lines. So nobody knew that Becky had died because the state that issued her birth certificate never received her death certificate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like,
she knows how to play the game.
Yeah, so basically another state knew she had died, and another...
This is mental.
Yeah, so everything is on paper as well. So like, to the state that she requested the birth certificate from, which was the state she was born in, they didn't know she'd died. Okay. But California knew that she'd died.
Yeah. And she's not in... But she's in Texas.
She requested it in California, from California.
No, but what I mean is she's utilizing this birth certificate in Texas.
Yeah, or just anywhere aside from where she died.
And then as soon as she changes her name, it doesn't matter where she goes.
The only place that is aware that she had died is California. Yeah. Outside California, she's still alive. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. It would be different if Becky was also born in California.
Yeah, but what I mean is, so if she leaves California, she goes eventually in 2000, whatever it is, she changed, or 1989, she changed her name to Lori.
Yep.
She can go anywhere.
Well, now she's not even called Becky.
That's what I mean. She can go anywhere.
She's got a new birth certificate. She's got a new identity card because she changed her name.
Oh my God.
I know.
Please don't give me another name.
It's just mad how you could get these things so easily back in the 70s.
It's bloody crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can get away with a lot in the 80s and 70s, can't you? So, DB Cooper.
Yes.
And then, so one month later, after she had like taken this birth certificate, she got a driver's license under Becky Sue Kennedy. And she got a new driver's license. She went and did her driving test or whatever, and the birth certificate she provided was Becky Sue Turner's. But
not Kennedy.
Sorry, it was Becky Sue.
Becky Sue Turner.
Becky Sue. No, Becky Sue Turner. Yeah.
Okay.
So then, but let's note that Becky was born in 1969, and Lori was born in 1968.
Close.
So she looked like Becky would be her age at this time, so she could pass it off.
Yeah.
And so 1 month later, after she got her driver's license, she changed her name to Lori. Then she got a new driver's license under her new name, Lori, but Lori Kennedy.
So yeah, she got her original license under Becky Sue and then just flipped it to Lori.
She got her original license Becky Sue Kennedy.
Becky Sue Kennedy?
Yeah.
Where did the Kennedy bit come from?
So she's done half of her new name because her actual new name is Lori Kennedy, but she's done half of it. And then she gets her new, then she changes her name to Lori and then gets a new driver's license, Lori Kennedy. She doesn't do it all in one go. I don't know. Okay. Maybe it's part of her like plan to like
slowly so she doesn't arouse suspicion. Oh my goodness.
And then she also gets a social security number under the new name of Lori Kennedy as well. So right now in the US, you're assigned a social security number when you're born. But back then you would apply for one and get one. And it's like, this is how they keep track of people now because everybody has a social security number. Back then, this is how people would do identity theft because they didn't have a social security number to begin with. So she got a new one. Well, I don't know if she had one before, but she got one under Lori Kennedy. She also, now this is another thing to fry your brain, but not really. She also had several P.O. boxes in several different states. So she had one in California where Becky Sue Turner was like, I think who died. She also had another one in Las Vegas, and all of her mail, like that would arrive in Dallas, would jump from one P.O. box to another, and then eventually get to her in Dallas. None of her mail would come directly to Dallas. They would just keep getting forwarded from P.O. boxes.
This woman's smart.
It's crazy. Like she's just like a normal woman.
By the way, this is the best. This is the best one we've ever done.
What?
This is the best one we've ever done. This is mental.
It is crazy.
This is mental.
I don't think you, from the background story, you don't expect all this to come out. We haven't even finished.
This is the best one we've ever done, for sure.
Well, let's see if you still think this by the end. So, and then her photo was run through facial recognition with no results. Her fingerprints were run with no results by the FBI as well. So FBI gets involved now.
Yeah.
And they run all this, no results. They did find out that she had breast implants. And they even checked the serial number on the breast implants, but it turned out that the serial number was registered under her fake name, Lori, because she got them after she changed her identity. So, yeah, so this is all the information I have, right?
I have an idea.
I want to show you like the scribbled notes. Now, we're going to have this on our Instagram, so feel free to follow us. But look at this. So this note is just full of just random writings. Some things that did stick out to me is that there's North Hollywood police up here. Now, remember, she is in Dallas at the time. So this note must have been written when she was in California because she's written North Hollywood police on it. So this is like at the start of her...
Yeah, but it's a long number. It's not just like 911.
Aren't numbers like phone numbers that long in America?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But North Hollywood police, why do you need to know like a direct line to them unless you're communicating with them?
Maybe maybe she it's like the 911. Yeah, so she wants to call someone specific about
either
it.
Specific or like directly to North Hollywood police.
Yeah.
What else we got? Records.
Another thing that stuck out to me, I think this note is from when she first started changing her identity, because the other one is a law office, Ben Perkins Law Office. They actually contacted Ben Perkins and he Junior. He said he'd never heard of her.
Of
they also followed up on that Thai reference. The guy doesn't exist.
On what Thai reference?
The Steinbeck guy.
Oh, right, yeah.
From Thailand.
Like, she could have just been staying at a 4-star resort and like spoken to someone and be like, write it on the...
Yeah.
Because it's like, because it's got the letterhead as the 4-star resort.
Yeah.
That she wrote there. Like, it could be anything. Jackson.
So I think
that's son though, because there's a dot in between it.
Oh yeah, Jack's son.
Yeah, who's Jack? Yeah. Who's Jack's son?
This says these eyes and then a number, and then it says shoot, which is so strange.
Which, yeah, just the word shoot.
There's also money here.
Yeah.
There's just so much. You could really, really decode this if you wanted.
What does that say?
Lassimer. There's just so many phone numbers everywhere. There's Tucson. I almost feel like there's like places. Like there's Jennifer Perkins, which I think is something to do with Ben Perkins. I wonder if she's trying to figure out where to go or where to run away to.
Yeah, because she scored them out. It's almost like I've done that. Yeah.
There's more Hollywood references.
It looks like my notes when I'm doing these.
But yeah, I just think this is really interesting. I don't know if we can get anything out of it. There's also Manchester Boulevard.
Can I keep looking at it?
Yeah. Do you want to just like pause and?
Yeah, we'll come back and I'll come back with my thoughts after close investigation. On the note, I actually think that this is by her phone. That's why it's all like weird, and she's just, it's like a notepad by her phone to just take notes all the time, because there's like a 3:00 number, names, hence why there's heaps of phone numbers for her to call all the time. Right, so or
someone's going to call her at 3:00 or something. Wow.
Or something happens at 3:00. So, my thought on this is that she's in the army. She was in the army. Okay, or she was in some sort of intelligence.
You want to look at this?
Yeah, I want to see it. Well, sorry, I don't need to do it the full way, but
I don't need to look at it. But
she was some kind of intelligence or something. So the reason that I'm saying this, and as bad as it sounds, it's from a TV show. There's a TV show called Homeland.
Okay.
And for those who don't know, this is a bit of a spoiler. Again, from same as last time. If you've not watched it, you don't care. So, there's a woman in it. I can't remember her name. She's the main character, but it's essentially it's a form of PTSD, I think. But essentially, when you get into those places, like to me, that explains how she has the contacts and stuff to get new identities and things like that. And maybe she was a spy or like in some sort of special forces, secret agent. I don't know what it is, but something happened in the army that has essentially given her some form of like PTSD, as you said, depression, things like that has then changed her as a person. She's wanted to remove herself. She doesn't want to be this person anymore. Hence why she changes to Becky Sue Turner, and then eventually she does that. So that's a transition name. That's a transition name to get another name. Maybe she was a deserter or something, and then she gets this name, Becky Sue Turner, in order, because as you said, like, she knows people, or she knows herself how to flip that name into just a brand new identity.
Yeah.
And to me, like, she seems like someone who's very, as you said, like, if she's very outgoing, and I bet she like made, when she was with Blake, sorry. When she was with Blake, yeah, I don't know where that came from. When she was with Blake, I bet you, like, she would tell him what to do. She would be very organized. She'd be all that kind of thing. So my thought is that she was kind of in some sort of military type organization, and then she kind of came out of it badly, whether that be seeing colleagues die, whether it be something happened to her, I don't know. And then it's kind of followed her through. She's found God, all of that stuff, and then she's found him. And it's like he's like someone who, you know, he's, as you say, he's quite timid, he's quite shy, he's quite he's someone that she can help, someone that she can steer and keep on, you know, they can go on the right path together. And then kind of all this stuff starts bubbling up again when when she's with him. She gets obsessive. She doesn't want to lose anyone, so she, again, as you said, when you try too hard, you end up pushing people away.
Yeah.
So I think she's just kind of started trying too hard, or getting too obsessive, too kind of linking to it, and then just kind of pushed him away. And then she has nothing to, like, that was her world. And then, you know, if she's not letting, it kind of explains, if she's seen death before in certain ways, it might explain why she's so protective over her child, and not wanting anyone to touch. Like, it's her protection. If she knows if she's protecting the child, it's going to be okay. And then allowing that additional kind of trust element into things, she's probably not very good at. And then it all comes to a head, and then
it kind of shows someone who has lost or never had a family, how much they want that family with them, and how desperate they are for this family dynamic.
It's probably desperation for just a normal life.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's why I wonder if, you know, the making up of things, like, obviously she's had to make things up because she's a completely different person, but whether her family are alive or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we're alive at the time of death, I don't know, but to me it says that kind of thing. Or she was in a very troubled childhood, which forced her to do these things, but how she would link in, I don't know.
It's so professional, though.
That's why
I think want to leave your life and start over.
Like military, or like something.
Is she running away from something or someone or an organization? Because I just feel like the level of professionalism in the way she's gone, and you know, if you just want to leave home, you can just go and start over.
Sorry, I didn't finish. I didn't finish my point on the Homeland thing.
Oh, right, okay.
So she, in the film, in the TV show, essentially something very, very bad happens to the main character from the first couple of series, who's in a relationship with the main woman character. I can't remember any of their names, it's been so long. But she becomes kind of, it's this PTSD, because she sees him die. She sees him being, like...
Spoiler alert!
She sees him die. And it hits her, and turns out she's pregnant at the time. And this whole thing happens, like, again, with her and the kid, and like protection. Then it becomes, can she keep, like, is she? It gave me similar vibes to what you were talking about. Okay. In terms of the film, which is why my head went to that military kind of side of things.
Yeah. Because I think, like, people who are scared of losing people have probably seen, you know, death and all that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So is that your theory? Is it that
would be my assumption? Like, I mean, I could try and be some sort of crazy detective person and Google every name in here, but I think
that's already been done.
I think
probably.
Like but what I mean is, like, you know that $1.85.
Yeah.
Like that's just a note.
It's
like
just,
that's just a note.
Notes,
it's that's a piece of paper that's just by the door, by the phone, that they just scribble notes on. They're not interlinked.
There's a note here. Records. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But I think
it's reminders for your head.
What's interesting about this note though is I can tell it was from before she moved to Dallas. It was like when she was still in California because of all the Hollywood numbers. Mm-hmm. So that makes it interesting in the fact that maybe this is her way of changing her identity. It's like this is her path. All these numbers, and it's like people they know, she knows or something.
Smart, yeah.
Just because she did it when she was in California and she left California after she did it. So
also, if you're the lawyer who helped her change her name, you're not going to obviously going to deny knowing her.
And there's 2 names there relating to this lawyer. There's 2 Perkins surnames. But what if I told you that we kind of know who she is now, but I'm not convinced. If that makes sense. Like, so I said that I told you before this that this is sort of very half solved kind of, but for me it's not solved. But basically the so obviously Lori has a daughter.
Yeah.
Who is basically a living, breathing DNA. So they.
Oh my God. The plot thickens.
Well, I hope, but not really. So they obviously they have a relative of Lori now through her daughter, and because obviously Blake is not a relative of hers, and they don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
But they put Lori's daughter's DNA into like all these databases now that are very prevalent now in the 2000s. Like
my head keeps going back, like, because we like the last couple of cases we've done have been like the Dial of Past Part 2 wasn't, but the other ones have been in like the 19 thingies.
Yeah. But
yeah, they're gonna have like proper DNA testing.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah. So basically I think it was like Ancestry.com or like something like that.
Send it a test
like family tree stuff. Like basically,
no, we're not sponsored by Ancestry.com.
No, but it was something like that. That
if
like,
you fancy it, reach out.
Because it wasn't like a criminal database. You know, like this was in 2013 that they discovered this. They put her DNA into a system, and they actually ended up finding like very far families, and then they started to like process of elimination actually got to her family. And turns out that she was a native of suburban Philadelphia, and her name was Kimberly Maria McLean.
I said I didn't want another name. Wait, so she was from Philly?
She was from Philadelphia. Her real name was Kimberly.
Was she from West Philadelphia?
No,
was she born and raised on the playground where she spent most of her days chilling out racks and relaxing all cool?
I don't know. Is this a song?
Was she shooting some b-ball outside of the school?
What?
Outside of the school.
We need to play the song.
And then a couple of guys who were up to no good, they started making
Alex,
trouble
I'm giving a really big deal of a...
She got in one little fight and her mum got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle Bel-Air." It's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song. Sorry.
Oh, dear.
Philly, sorry, what was her name?
Kimberly. From Philly.
Kimberly from Philly.
But this is the part where I'm like, is this it? Like, is this the reason why she changed her name? She left at the age of 17 in the fall or autumn of 1986. So remember, she came onto the map 1988 as Becky Sue Turner. But
left in 1986.
Yeah, so she left. She ran away from home in 1986. So 2 years before that, at the age of 17. So she did all of this kind of name changing and all that when she was only 19.
Mad.
Yeah.
Oh, so my theory goes out the window.
Well, yeah. But here's the thing. She left because she didn't get along with her mum and dad, and they never reported her missing because they just accepted that she wanted to run away. That's it. And they never said anything else about her or any more details, and that was it. So she left and she just decided this massive like professional new identity at the age of 19 there's something I think that's not being said.
How do you get in contact with people that can change your identity? How do you know that much information?
Why do you need PO boxes? Like, what are you hiding? You know, what did she do in those 2 years? That's
a cool thing as well. I didn't actually mention that. The PO, like, that's mad smart. Sending it to a PO box, which then forwards onto another PO box, which then forwards onto another PO box, because then you're not.
But if you're just a girl who's ran away from home, why do you need that?
Then you think that you're being tracked, because like that's to me says I think like if I'm being tracked, it's gonna take a while for it to get to me.
I know. Like, why do you need all of that just because you ran away from home because you didn't get along with your mom and dad? There's some missing information here.
Something's fishy.
Well, that's why it's not really solved for me, because they didn't really say a lot about her.
No.
And I think something's not right, to be honest.
Do you think they're planted?
Maybe she's not even. Maybe she wasn't even 17.
But it could have been there. Like, if it's DNA, I mean, realistically, it probably is related to her in some capacity, like mother and father, or an uncle, wherever it is.
It's her mum and stepdad.
But it's whether.
And they never reported her missing.
Yeah.
Really? Like, did they not wonder where she's been in the last 42 years? No, sorry, 32. When did she leave? So in the last like 20 something years, like, really?
Unless they did something bad.
Well, that's what I think. Something, because she was really protective of her family. She didn't want anything to happen to her family. So was there some sort of family dynamic that really
was not great,
affected her?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was so confident on the army thing. Yeah.
But tell us what do you think? What was she running? Was she running from something? Does someone go to all these lengths just because she didn't get along with her parents?
Yeah, no, it's quite. But you can't, because obviously someone's given her Becky Sue Turner as a name. Someone's been like, you can claim this. Just ask for this birth certificate. There's someone that's helped her. So how you fall into like knowing these kind of people, I don't know, but. Yeah,
especially when you're only 17 when you leave, but obviously by the time she gets all this is 19. Like, imagine a 19-year-old knowing all the skill, knowing how to do this. I think something has happened to her in those 2 years that she left. She ran away. But what?
There's a question. Gosh, another bloody film, isn't it?
I know. I'm surprised they haven't made a film about her. You know. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, it's a little bit of a weird one, because it's like kind of half solved, but it's solved to the point, but if you compare all the information you just gave to them being like, oh no, she just left, it doesn't make sense. All that just for that. And also, I would like to know what she wrote to her daughter in that letter.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that'll never, unless the daughter chooses to release it.
Well, I don't know if it's been opened yet.
Well, she's not 18.
I'm not sure when she was born.
I don't think legally you can. If it's like in a will or something, or like on the letter saying do not open until you're 18.
Yeah.
They'll probably respect her wishes.
It's part of like, I suppose, like a will. Yeah. So when was her daughter born? She was born, so she won't be 18 yet.
I don't think they'll release, like if he's not releasing the letter that she sent him. Because it could be everything.
She'll be 18 soon, though.
But it could be admitting everything to him, like everything that happened, and he's just like, I'm not. Because again, if they want to present all these notes and things to the public, it just opens them up for like interviews, questioning, news reporters at their house, all that fun. You're not going to do it. There's no real
but sense. I think that Blake's family will want to know.
Oh but I mean, they will, but the public, like, knowing.
I don't know if they'll publicize it.
No, and I wouldn't think. I personally, if I was them, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I would be like, no, because it will bring more scrutiny, more public eye on you.
So maybe we'll never find out really who she was and what she did. to get to where she is, and why she needed PO boxes. Because she's making an effort to hide who she is. And from what we found out, there's nothing to hide. She just ran away.
But she might be going to this effort because she met him. So she might be going to the effort to hide who she is because she never wants him to know that.
No, she did all this before she met him. She met him in 2003.
Maybe there was someone else.
2003, she met him, and she did all this in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, my army thing went out the window when you said you were 19. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think.
You can join the army at 18. But she left at 17, so that's 1 year in the army.
As a woman?
Why not?
Oh, totally. But like, I mean, back then, were you like, was that like?
Maybe it wasn't common, but I'm sure there was women in the army.
The reason I say the reason I say that is because it was uncommon.
Yeah.
For them to join the army, and they usually didn't get well. But that also supports my theory because they weren't usually treated very well.
Yeah.
Back in those kind of times.
Yeah, so you could
maybe
you could have a point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah,
and her family wouldn't know about that because she ran away.
She ran away to the army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Well, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Go back and listen to the previous episodes we've done. We've covered many a mystery by now.
Yeah.
Many a mystery. And thank you for viewing, watching, listening, and subscribing.
Yeah, and see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.